Welcome to Chilltime with Jose. I am your host, Jose, and well, a lot has gone on. I think a lot of the drama fanatics, the guys who always love the drama, have been feasting in the last few days, given the fact that, well, let's just say ENCE fell apart, NA's getting some more tourneys, some people are leaving as well. Australia's actually getting some new tourneys as well. Actually going to highlight, well, Australia finally getting their League of Legends season back from ESL, which I was actually surprised with. I gotta check if I've got it in here actually for my news articles, because I've got to say I'm wrong on that one. I was a bit surprised that ESL actually went through it in the end, because they must have been very, very strict with Riot, because last time they got like basically snaked by Riot, so they must have been really, really strict with it. But yeah, we got a lot of good news. More AUs getting some more tournaments, some more TOs on board. I think there's Oceanic Esports coming back, Extremes Land coming back once again for the end of December tournament. So a lot of tournaments to cover the Australian scene. And there's also another snow dude, I can't remember for the life of me. I know there's this tournament which is let's see what it's called. It's Snow Sweet Snow, and that's another tournament run by Relog Media. And I've got to say, Relog Media have been running a lot of tournaments recently, and I can tell you now, every time I try to apply for one of their cast positions, it seems like I just get nowhere, and no one actually responds to anything I get, but somehow they get casters, which is either I'm checking the wrong emails, which is highly likely, or like the casting's already kind of been set, because I don't really have a relationship with the person who runs casting there. I probably should ask someone like who runs casting there anyway. I could probably ask 2Tap later, but anyways, that's enough about my casting stuff. Let's just get to the first stuff, okay? Let's just get to the first stuff. And, well, let's start off with a little story, okay, of what happened. So, this is how we start off with, okay? So, we started off with, Alu is going to talk about how ENCE is going on HLTV confirmed. So, everyone's like going like, okay, will it be that bad or not? Will it cause any trouble? Everyone was like, it's just a little innocent, HLTV interview, nothing can go wrong here, nothing could go wrong. So Alu, basically, Professor, Striker, Sponge. Oh no, Sponge will miss out. That's sad, but they'll talk all about this and stuff like that. And oh boy, where do we start? Okay, so first off, let's talk about this. Okay, I think everyone knows this by now. I don't think really anyone had to highlight that Alu was going to say this. Like, it was the wrong option. As I said, when it happened in 2019, I was going to say it was the year his worth changed by miles, okay? Like, they were going to regret killing LXB. I don't think ENCE realized what they had until it was gone. Okay, they had the great IGL. They go, we want some more fragging power. I'm like, you need an IGL. It doesn't matter who the fuck you've got, you need an IGL, okay? And they basically clicked LXB, and it's just like, dude, well, what do you expect? So this is the first domino that's kind of fallen down, is that during the interview as well, like, they got Sunny, they struggled to perform, they got worse and worse and worse, and essentially that's what happened. Basically, ENCE went downhill from there when they replaced Sunny with LXB. Now, I'm going to say here, it's not Sunny's fault, okay? I'm going to tell you now, it's not Sunny's fault that ENCE kicked LXB, okay? Like, he's allowed to make his own, kind of things. And Alu is currently the last person from the former ENCE roster, and ENCE have been just basically taking players out of Havu, just in case you guys are wondering, okay? They've been taking a lot of players out of Havu, and basically Havu and ENCE have been doing a switcheroo, mainly because ENCE have an ESL Pro League spot, and Havu have jack shit at the moment, just in case you guys are wondering. Havu doesn't even have a Flashpoint spot. I don't think they even have an ESEA spot. They're kind of like, going from all these tournaments to tournaments. They don't really have a league spot as far as I know. Even though this is why, like, Dutu and Saw and stuff like that left Havu, because they didn't really have much to look forward to. And as I said last episode, they got literally kicked in the guts and kicked in the balls and then stabbed in the back by the changes, and then they tried to make the best of it by, of course, abandoning MDL to go to Flashpoint, and they didn't find many favors at Flashpoint either, as they also failed to qualify again. And as I said before, like during the last episode, Havu were the most hard done by a team by the ESL Pro League changes. Like, they were the most hard done by. I can understand Big and Sprout, you know, of course, Big losing the ESL Pro League spot, Sprout as well, you know, Swole Patrol, all those other teams, and NA and EU losing it. But I feel Harvey was probably one of the worst, okay? Like, Harvey was probably one of the worst because they were going to be above their Finnish rivals, being ENCE. You know, being in the ESL Pro League, they were guaranteed a spot, as we talked about last episode, where there was only 3 teams in EU relegation, there's only 3 spots. That means Harvey's automatically promoted. So Spirit was the only team that actually went up to ESL Pro League because Sprout and Harvey were in MDL. And Sprout's still in MDL, by the way. And yeah, it's really, I'm going to say now, it's really broken up Harvey. Like, I'm going to say that. Like, you say Harvey gone to ESL Pro League and ENCE wasn't there. I feel like ENCE would be the team falling apart. Well, either way, ENCE are now falling apart. And let's take a look at it with the players here at the moment as well. So basically, Sergey saying, want to take Alu, but he's not simple and harmless. Basically, Alu's agent responded. I can't really translate that, to be honest. And it's really like basically describing from the teams that something was happening behind the scene with ENCE. And not many people suspected it, to be honest. Like, not many people suspected at all that it was something hiding in the ENCE scene. Also, as well, Sunny, like, you know, he was wondering why he was being IGL. And he really wasn't told why he became IGL. And yeah, he's pretty unhappy. Sergey actually did leave a tweet here, but he deleted that tweet. I think it was Sergey or Ariel retweeted this. I'm not terribly too sure. But people have told me there's been clearly 2 camps. There's the Alex B, Ariel, Sergey camp, and there was the Alu camp as well. And people suspected that Alu really, like, you know, was controlling the team with a giant ego and stuff like that. And it's not exactly the first time where a person who thinks they're the team basically has essentially broken their team. You know, that kind of thing, where one person thinks that, you know, the king of the jungle, or whatever they say goes, basically. It's not the first time that this has collapsed the team as well, and it won't be the last, unfortunately. Like, it won't be the last. You know, it gets to a point where someone thinks they're better than everyone else because, you know, they get better results in the game, but they don't realize it's a result of a team effort. They win and lose as a team. Something that Cadian said in a tweet. So, you know, just get you guys on that one as well. Cadian said that in a tweet, that you win and lose as a team. There's no individuals in this. So then basically what happened was that ENCE had no idea. Management had no idea of the severity of the problems between the players, like the giant rifts. And yeah, so basically, you know, Sergey revealed that there was really stuffed up things in there between the teams and stuff like that. Didn't really go into it, but it caused a rift to realize that Alu was, they suspected that, you know, basically Alu, Sergey didn't really like each other, and there was a you know, really bad persona behind in the background, I say, of Alu, apparently, according to Sergey. Like, you know, he wasn't as simple as harmless as he appears. He's probably something else in the boardroom. X7 also retweeted, that's why it was X7, it wasn't Ariel, it was X7 retweeted it. And Sunny said, Alu's truth, but not the whole truth. And he kind of felt, you know, betrayed. And this is how this, you know, little, you know, interview has literally, like, snowballed into ENCE falling apart. And most likely I'm going to say ENCE is probably going to disband as a team. And this is going to get worse for ESL. You know, and not for ESL as a solo, but it's going to be a bit shocking at ESL on, like, hey, hang on, like, you know, where's that Pro League spot going to go? Because ENCE is a ESL Pro League partner, by the way. So they can't be relegated because, you know, they were given a partnership with ESL. So what is ENCE going to do? Is ENCE going to buy Harvu's team? I don't think Harvu will be giving any freebies. I think Harvu will be putting a large mark up if they want to buy their team. You know, what's going to happen here? What are they going to do? We'll see what they're going to do. You can probably see what I think ENCE might do. We'll just give you guys a bit of a heads up then, shouldn't we? So first off, Harvu signed Ariel. So as I said, I made a joke earlier saying that, you know, basically Harvu and ENCE are going to do a player swap. That's not, you know, not surprising. So Dotto and Saw go to Harvu, and they go to ENCE, and then Ariel and X7 go to Harvu. So not entirely surprising. They get Zori in exchange. Like, Zori will be still there as well. And yeah, so Ariel's been on the bench. I'm gonna say it's medical leave. I'm not sure how serious it is. Might be, you know, dealing with Alu. Not totally too sure. Might be dealing with someone else. I'm not even sure at all. Like, we don't know what the medical leave is. We can't really question it. So it says Super Jimmy SJ. I thought that's actually a cool name, Super Jimmy. And now the roster for Havu is going to be Jemmy, Slowy, Zori, Seven, Ariel, and Disturbed. And I'm a bit surprised that, Havu haven't come back to the ESA, MDL and stuff like that yet. I wonder if they do. Would they be given an MDL spot right away? And also as well, with that transfer, ENCE don't have any MRBR points, funnily enough, because they only have one person in that previous lineup. So they don't have any major points to begin with. So that's going to be a bit fun for ENCE. And I got to tell you now, I don't think ENCE is going to qualify for the major. They're not going to be there. And yeah, Havu pick up another player. And Havu probably very, very excited to pick up another ENCE player. But, we'll see what happens. So now next up is, well, ENCE is going to lose another player with Sunny in talks with GODSENT. Now, basically, he'll be replaced with a Crystal. I'm not terribly too sure what this is going to be. Like, is Emmy going to be moved on, or is Emmy a temporary replacement? I guess that would be the case, that Emmy was a temporary replacement for GODSENT. As I said before, I didn't think Emmy, even though I'm not going to say he's a bad player, he's a good IGL. But like, if GODSENT's making a move to say that, okay, we're getting rid of Crystal because he's not performing as a fragger, but he's a good IGL, then you pick up Emmy, who's in a similar scenario, and I think he's a bit younger. Is this sitting there going like, you sure about this? Because Emmy's also a similar player as well to Crystal, and Crystal's probably got that little edge to him where he's able to win rounds in the jaws of defeat. And I feel like, Crystal would be the better player. So, I'm alright too, girl. Hope you're going alright too, as bad, man. So I feel like, Crystal is the better player there, if I was actually looking at it. But in the end, they're going to pick up Sunny. And I gotta say, this is probably a much better move from GODSENT. Probably what they had in mind was to, wait for someone, get Emmy in the meantime, of course, as they bench Crystal. Crystal might probably move back to be an analyst for GODSENT. Would be surprised, because that guy is a machine from what I've seen. And the calculations he does as well is pretty nuts to see as well. And as you can see here, you got Steeko, Maiden, Farlig, Zen, Sunny, and Devork being the coach. And I gotta say, this is a good lineup. Very, very good lineup. We get some extra firepower around Sunny. They could even put, like, Steeko is actually in-game leader, I believe, as well. And they could put him as in-game leader, have Sunny as the firepower. Now, another one is, which is really interesting, which is Fraud. So, basically, in reaction to the tweet here, just in case you guys are wondering, with the ENCE tweet, Fraud actually tweeted at Carmack. Just in case you guys are wondering, Fraud's in Valorant now, coaching T1. And Fraud was actually revealing some communications from the inside of ESL that apparently this is a rumor. Given it's from Fraud, I'd give it, a bit of a grain of salt, because like, you gotta be careful, because he was the one that was from Swole Patrol that got, obviously they lost their spot, and he said that ENCE, Complexity, OG, and more got together, threatened ESL to leave and create a new league. ESL caves, ESL takes out plus other team spot, freely gives to them more, plus includes the profit sharing and no one else. One knew none were in the Pro League at the time. Some even dropped MDL. People question, like, OG, really? Question mark. They're not even in the Louvre agreement, unlike like in ENCE. Does ESL have OG later, or they get pre-pushed without signing any agreement? So there's a few questions here and there from a few people. And Fraud was saying, he was saying the same thing earlier, but no one was listening to what he said. And this is kind of like, this is why I said it can get bad for ESL here, is because ESL gave ENCE a free spot, and it's becoming a bit damning that I think when I talk about my opinion after the whole issue of NA orgs leaving and stuff like this, I think this is what's going to happen to the CSGO scene, every esports scene, is that all these big teams are going to basically bully their way into an exclusivity league, and it's basically going to bar out the smaller teams. So basically the smaller teams are essentially going to be compulsory feeding the bigger teams. And CSGO scene is probably one of the only scenes that allow these smaller teams to get some LAN action without having to be on, a Cloud9 or 100 Thieves or anything like that. It's one of the few scenes that allow for that. And what's happening with Valorant potentially as well, it could be a franchise league there, with League of Legends already a franchise league, Call of Duty already a franchise league, Overwatch already a franchise league. I think this is what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that there's going to be franchise leagues even in CSGO. Like, there's going to be a soft exclusivity. It's going to start with, obviously, with ESL Pro League, you know, being having partner teams. And, they, you know, then it's going to be like, okay, it's only these teams now in and stuff like that. Because this is the thing, because ESL's competing against, well, Riot for Valorant. You know, if they want to get money in as well. Even though ESL, you know, does run, say, League of Legends in Australia now, they're still in context with other teams as well. Like, you know, they need to get teams and orgs in so CSGO can have a scene, because essentially ESL, just in case you guys are wondering, like 80% of the scene. So that's something I'd force it, but I'm pretty sure CSGO is forced to go the same way. Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably going to go the same way. And I'm going to say here it's really disappointing, because what's going to happen now is that it's going to be very stale. I'm going to be blatantly honest. Like, it's going to be very stale. Like, the only thing what makes CSGO so good, I feel, is that any team has a chance. You know, if they really put into it, they can really, you know, build their way up and cruise through the ranks. And it's just disappointing to see this. Like, it really is. Like, this is why I feel like, this is why I feel the NA orgs are leaving, because of course you can see here GenG placed their roster on a transfer list. And I'm going to say, like, no offense to GenG, like, you know, no offense to the players still remaining, okay? Like, they're, you know, Automatic, Rooster, Bentet, and El Putty, you know, coach in Australia. But seriously, you couldn't find 2 players in the NA scene? Come on, give me a break. Like, seriously. So yeah, GenG put the Automatic on a transfer list. I gotta say now most of these players are gonna go to Valorant. Like, there's no other game, FPS shooter that makes money other than Valorant. Don't quote Overwatch. They're gonna go to Valorant, because Valorant's basically, at the moment, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm very sure Valorant's gonna set up a franchise league. I mean, you'd have to be blind, like, this is a rumor, obviously. You have to be blind Freddy to not see it, because, like, every single NA org and their dog is in Valorant at the moment with a team, and they're, like, obeying everything Riot does. I'm very sure it's going to be exclusivity league, okay? Like, I reckon it's going to be a franchise league. There's going to be franchising in Valorant eventually. Like, it's not going to be... Let's see if it'll be Automatic on Cloud9. Doubtful. Don't think Cloud9 are going to pick them up. But yeah, like, we'll see. But I'm not sure where they're going to go. Automatic's put up a tweet. I think Bentet's put up a tweet. Bentet wants to play CSGO still. Not sure where Krusa's going to go. Krusa can go, as I said in my tweet, Krusa can go to any team he wants. Like, I'm going to be real with you. He can go to any team he wants. He's a good support player. He's a good anything player. Like, he'll play anything, essentially. So he could probably go to a variety of teams where they need that player that will play the shit positions, and the positions that, you know, are kind of thankless and help the playmakers out, you know? Automatic can go to any team as the AWPer or Rifle. Actually, no, sorry. Automatic wanted to go to Valorant or wanted to be the AWPer for a team. I feel like he'll be much better as a Rifle, that's my opinion as well, and a lot of other people's opinions. But, you know, of course, it's up to him. And I know Bentet wants to play CSGO. Now, I just find this, in my opinion, incredibly... I'm going to say it, incredibly lazy from GenG. Like, if you basically said, like, they say it's not, the players were not benched, that it was not a Valorant over Counter-Strike situation, why couldn't you find 2 players? Like, I'm just going to ask the question, why couldn't you find 2 CSGO players in NA who want a salary? Dude, GenG had an interview with DreamHack saying that if he's picked up by Org, they'll play together. I wonder, Rush B Media need to really ask the hard questions here. Why, what, how couldn't you find 2 players? There are so many unsalaried players in the NA scene, it is not even funny that are worth the effort. Any of the Chaos players are worth the effort. They're a top 20 team. Now the thing is, they did lose Daps and Som to Valorant to join NRG. I just feel they really did not try, and this also leaves Flashpoint in a really shit scenario because they've lost another partner team. Okay, and this is the thing, like they gave these orgs Flashpoint what they wanted. Okay, was the soft exclusivity. You always have a spot, and you get big prize money, and they just do this. It's just like this is why I feel something stinks behind the scene. Like this is why I'm thinking something stinks, because something really stinks. Like the prize money is there, the ways to get there, exclusivity is there. So something is stinking behind the scene about this, and none of them I just feel like none of them are being really completely honest. So anyways, we got some other good news in the meantime. Some other orgs stepping up. Extra Salt signed xCloud9. And, good things. This is a funny thing. I think the announcement tweet was actually pretty good. Yeah, I thought this was actually really, really good. The Salt Shaker. So it's some good news in the American CSGO scene where some smaller orgs are having a go. I got to give a shout out to like Triumph, Frequent 5 and a few others as well that are still giving it a go right now. They've been giving it a go, for a long time. New England Whalers as well. And a few other, orgs that had to stop due to COVID. I think they'll be a great team. Yeah, of course they'll be a great team. They've been with each other for quite a while. The extra player for Extra Salt, not terribly too sure if we're going to get a fifth player. But we probably are going to get a fifth player in the future. And I've got to say as well, you know how I said it stinks? Have you seen the different Cloud9 where they interviewed JT? No, I haven't actually. But I gotta say here, this is another one as well. Basically, he said there's a vacuum to take advantage of, and to craft an underdog lineup. This is the kind of thing. I like Van Flyman's or Flemin. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, buddy. Sorry, but I like his attitude. He's there's basically some orgs are leaving stuff on a table, and we can just gobble it up. Can you imagine Extra Salt getting a Flashpoint position and winning the league and getting that 500k like Vertis Pro did? Vertis Pro qualified for Flashpoint from open to close to winning. I think a lot of these teams don't realize that there's a lot of money on the table kind of thing with the CSGO tournaments. I'm not entirely too sure what Riot are offering. So, there's Extra Salt, you're taking advantage of it. But yeah, this is good news for the NA scene. Very good news. Despite the previous news of GenG, this is really good news that a lot of small orgs are taking a shot at it. And it's, some of the orgs that we probably not have heard of or something like that. And, I encourage a lot of these NA orgs that maybe tier 2 orgs, something like that, to really get behind the CSGO team, because there are a lot of players, out there at the moment that, would take a salary to play CSGO. They may not want to take the risk of going to Valorant and potentially not getting into a team. They don't, basically I think all the tier 1 orgs have already picked up teams. In fact, some tier 1 orgs are dropping teams as well. Cloud9 dropping their Korean roster. I think another team dropped their Korean roster as well. Because of the team exclusivity and stuff like that. But anyways, let's get to the next part. So another Relog, I gotta say, Relog have been really, really pushing these tournaments out, which is good to see. The Snow Sweet Snow, and they're gonna have basically the 8 regions. No NA scene, unfortunately, but they were thinking of going to the NA scene. Okay, they're thinking of going to an NA scene, and I think that would be a good idea if they do go to the NA scene in the end, because the NA scene desperately needs a tournament. Sorry about that, guys. That just basically goes on in between the MDLs and stuff like that. They've already got Mythic League to an extent as well, with Mythic leading the charge. Basically another, Snow Sweet Snow. They've been actually holding a lot of events recently as well. They also held I think it was a 2v2 tournament for the EU as well. And it'll be good to see that they get into these, other environments and other areas to kind of give the tier 2 scene something to really grasp at, rather than just, having to work day by day and play CSGO at night, essentially. Last but not least, Blast announced his more inclusive format. This is probably more to do with Asia, and Oceania than it is to do with NA. And basically, Blast will have a Oceania kind of thing and an Asia kind of thing. So now Blast was lost one partner, giving 100 Thieves decided to leave Counter-Strike. And this is another thing I'm going to say with 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves actually quoted COVID as being the issue of them leaving, and then they pick up a Call of Duty franchise slot. So you can kind of see what 100 Thieves are more interested in. And it kind of leads some of credence to what I said before. Like, a lot of these big NA orgs will not, will want an exclusivity spot rather than, compete with other teams. And this is where I feel this is where CSGO is going to go, is that the bigger teams are going to get such control of the tournaments, and if Valve don't let them, they're just going to go walk and go to someone else that will give them this exclusivity. Because I just feel like basically what they want is they want their success of, winning tournaments and stuff like that. But they don't want to deal with the downside when their team's not performing well. It's kind of like saying, they don't want to manage their teams, but they want all the, prizes to go if they win, that kind of thing. And that's how it communicates to me, to be honest, to be completely honest with the exclusivities, is that, they want all the glory from their team winning, but, if their team fails, they don't want to, they don't want to lose it completely kind of thing, which is, understandable if you're a big company. You don't want to lose money. You don't want to go to your shareholders and be like, oh yeah, shit, we just, we invested in a CSGO team, they sucked, we lost money. You don't want to invest in that. There's also, talking about that, this is on the side here, another side point, is that really leads to credence to what Foreign said about CSGO players really need to extend from banging heads. So if you're not going well at banging heads, you still got content on the side, and people buying Cloud9 or 100 Thieves jersey because they still love their players, okay? Like, still love their players, that kind of thing. Like, do the interviews, be the person that you are and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that's probably a good thing for Foreign to say, given that it will probably keep the CSGO scene alive if we have those characters in the scene, instead of them going off to, Valorant, basically, chasing money. Not chasing money, but, going after other scenes and stuff like that. Now, Blast's going to have an Asia and Oceanic scene. I have no idea where these scenes are going to go. As you can see, a lot of money up for grabs in these Blast tournaments. And this is why I'm a bit surprised that, people are going off elsewhere. And, basically, Oceanic, Asia. We'll see what happens there. We'll be back in 2021. Will I get a casting gig for Blast? Probably unlikely. As you guys may have seen, I got 0 casting gigs over Christmas. I was actually approached by Oceanic Oceanic Esports about it after I played Among Us with them, of course. I said, what time is it? And I said I probably can't make it if it's if it's 4:30 EST. Like 4:30 EST. I know, not 4:30 EST. 7:30 EST. I can't probably make it because it's 4:30 my time. So, yeah, some events have come in. Thank you for the follow, Festus. So next up, we got this. Okay, and as if the Australian scene needed enough. Like, seriously. So this is from ESL. This was released today by Dex, I believe. And this is an interesting ad. I don't even know why I've got ads in German, but okay. But ESL, Australian player handed 12-month ban due to false ID. ASAP. Fucking hell. That's all I'm gonna say. You got a 12-month ban for submitting false ID in ESL to circumvent an age restriction. Holy moly. Oh. I don't even know how incredibly stupid you have to be to do this. Incredibly stupid. I know he's young. Take this time off, build a brand. That's it. Like, that is so stupid. Like, that is... You are going so well, and you just shot yourself in the foot. Maybe appeal to sentence if you can get a bit less. But that's about it. Like, just enjoy your time off. I'm gonna say that you cannot complain about this. Do not, just don't commit fraud, guys. Do not tempt fate with, rules and stuff like that. Just don't. Okay. It's very disappointing to see. That's why they were kicked out from DreamHack Masters, just in case you guys were wondering. because they wouldn't have the core to qualify with. They had a tier 2v2 tournament that I think it's Red Bull Flick. You have to be 18 years older. ASAP's definitely not 18. And yeah, this is dumb. Like, this is dumb. The ban, you could say, is a bit harsh. You could probably go to like ESIC or anything like that. Like, be like, 12-month ban's a bit harsh. Maybe 6 months. Like, ask a bit of leniency. Like, say it was a dumb thing. And stuff like that. But, you're at the mercy of ESIC there. And if you're going to do that, you're going to pay an appeal as well. This is just stupid. Like, this is really, really stupid. We don't need any more of this. Like, we really don't. The AUC doesn't need more of this. And yeah, bit unfortunate that ASAP, probably one of the most consistent and better players, is not going to be playing MDL for the next year or so. He's not going to be playing, probably high competitive CS unless he plays on, I say, Face It, I assume. If Face It have any tournaments. But yeah, that's going to be it. Like, he's burned himself for 12 months. He's probably got other things he can, really focus on as well, if he wants to. But hey, guys, like, stop. Like, seriously, don't do dumb things. If it's a crime, just don't do it, because most of the times they're going to give you bans. Don't submit false ID. Don't submit false documentation. Don't bet on your own games. Do not bet on any games in the leagues that you participate in or cast in. It'll save you a lot of trouble, and you won't, if they do find out, you won't get picked off like this for a year. Now, some people may complain, the teams that were stream sniping weren't banned. Dude, if they did that, they'd kill the scene overnight. And they basically said, you get caught doing that, the TOs start enforcing fines. ESIC gave, the TOs authority to start charging them fines. And I do agree with some of these people. They should have, faced some fines. Honestly, some of these teams that were doing that, stream sniping, should have faced some fines. I agree with you guys. But, you can't be like, oh, we got banned. But if they didn't get banned, then we shouldn't get banned. It's like, no, that's not how this works. It's not how this works at all. Just, whatever they do, you don't worry about it, okay? It's about what you do, okay? And you don't do this sort of shit. It's stupid. Very, very stupid. And, stupid games with stupid prizes at the end of the day. I'd say hopefully it can go down to 6 months, maybe 3 months with, something he has to do behind the scenes to really help out the Australian scene. A lot of the Australian community are pretty happy with this, the ban for 12 months, mainly because they, most of the big stars show a big dislike for Rooster, given the in-game antics. That's what they say. They talk about that. To be fair, though, I'm really, really impartial about it. I want to see, Rooster really push a positive role model. They haven't really done that, at this stage. They need to be a lot better. And this is just a fucking, absolute... no, it's just a brain dead move, and it's something it's something that Rooster didn't need, because now Rooster's MDL spots in question too, because they only have out of that roster, they have Chilltime and Denny G and JTR, and I'm not sure if ESCA are going to give him that MDL spot based on those 3 players. That's an interesting conundrum, because unless Marvin has to play for 8 games then. So, it's kind of an absolute pickle that they're in at the moment. And not to mention, all of Rooster 2 bar JTR have moved on. So they got to find an extra player as well. And like I said, Rooster in a lot of trouble here. And it's not what they needed. It's absolutely not what they needed at all. Really, really disappointed in this. Okay, really disappointed in this at all. Not happy about this at all. Next up, Myron's moving on. I believe he was with MIBR. G'day, Sheku. If you're having a good day, my dude. So Myron's moving on from 9Z. He should get into any team. I wouldn't be surprised if he's picked up, probably within the next few weeks. Now, on the other end, I'm pretty good, man, Sheku. I'm pretty good. Yeah, I saw the DMs. Just in case you're wondering, I did see the DMs. I did read them. Vertis Pro won DreamHack Open. As I keep telling you guys, Vertis Pro is going to be a top 5 team. Okay? I'm telling you this now. Vertis Pro top 5 team. No one believes me, okay? Maybe because I'm a big Vertis Pro fan. But Vertis Pro is going to be a top 5 team, okay? There's nothing stopping them, okay? This team will be taking on Australis and potentially beating them, okay? I can tell you guys that now. You guys may think I'm crazy or whatever. But they're gonna beat Australis, okay? They're gonna beat Australis. So next up, we got some good news for the AU scene. So the AU Oceanic scene overall, the esports scene. And we got some great news. Okay? So basically the Oceanic Pro League, OPL, was basically disbanded last season. Or not last season, well, it was in November or October. And basically a lot of the teams were thinking about dropping to League of Legends teams, okay? Because there'd be no tournaments with League in Oceanic because Riot went away. But fortunately, ESL, which I'm absolutely shocked with actually, I'm going to say this, as you can see in my tweet below. The reason why I'm shocked is that ESL want to work with Riot after what happened last time with League. But I guess it is ESL Australia, and I'm very sure ESL would have just been, dotting the T's and crossing the I's there to make sure they don't lose it out of nowhere and have it yoinked off them by Riot if it becomes good again. But yeah, that's a good thing in the scene. Also, as well, Swifty and I think it's Gomez were added to the order lineup as, Inve and Spawn both left. So we get some real firepower back in AU. And, talking about the caster scene overall, we got some this is, I think it's Extremes Land. Like, this is the funny thing. I'm the only one, and Josh actually as well, that did not get a role in the CSGO things, funnily enough. So you got Conky, Craft, Komodo, Mac, Pilsky, and then you got Elvish, Trivial, Quick Draw, 2Tap, and Matsy. Now, I was contacted by Oceanic Esports, and I said, what do you guys have got? Okay, if you guys got any 730 EST games, I may not be able to do it. And, that's basically what I said. So I guess they indeed do have 730 games. So yeah, I think it's me and Josh probably the only ones who cast a lot. Didn't really get a ticket to any of this. I don't really blame Josh because Josh is working full time at the moment, so he's definitely, not going to be thinking about casting as his number one forefront. But I'm not entirely, I'm not entirely surprised about it. I wasn't really approached about it. And it's just kind of, at this point, even though I cast a lot of ESM Mount Do League and I've got rights to do that, I'm just not very sure if, any other, thing wants me. A lot of people go, oh, promote your stuff, promote everything, contact people. I do that. It's just, oh man, it's just really, really hard to break in there, And I think I just make it harder for myself, in my opinion. There was a subtweet, and I feel it was directed at me about my comments about what went on. Someone said some of the esports personalities, if they act like this at work, they would get kicked or something like that. Someone actually tweeted that. I'm going is this directed at me for what I said about what went on? With the with ESL Pro League? Because it was a great injustice what happened to Havu. It was a great injustice what happened to Havu. Because I was talking about Havu and Big. Now, another thing as well, there was Rooster 2, just in case you guys are wondering. Rooster 2 is definitely dead on arrival, as basically JTR has joined Rooster. And BB, I believe, the first female Mount Do League is now going to Valorant. Now, this is kind of I'm going to say now, kind of expected, I'm going to say, because realistically for BB, she doesn't have a team to go back to an MDL. I'm not even sure she has a team to go back into an Open. Is at this point, it's do you take a gamble and go into the OC Valorant scene? And that's what they've done. Now, the OC Valorant scene at the moment, well, it's pretty much got a lot of players that have been VAC banned and haven't had the VAC ban reverted. It's got a lot of the, ex-CSGO crew moving over there. And obviously it's got a similar vibe to the NA, where I feel like there's going to be another franchise league where Riot's going to run it maybe for Valorant. It's another similar thing where a franchise league's going to pop out of nowhere. Because, there's another... why I say this, it's kind of a similar thing with NA, where some AU orgs, not all of them, of course, got your Chiefs, Ordinals, that stuff. But some of the AU orgs, the bigger ones, Legacy, for example, don't have a CSGO team. And there's been some pretty good CSGO teams there. So I'm not entirely, sure why the Trees are not really interested in the CSGO team. They had one ages back. But, not totally too sure why they're not interested in one now. Maybe, maybe something else in the scene, not totally too sure. They probably could keep an MDL spot pretty easily. Or maybe it's not worth it. I think the 100 Thieves players they could have picked up, but I doubt they could even pay the salaries, to be honest. But yeah, you know, that's my thoughts about it. You know, that's my thoughts about it. I don't think they could even pay their salaries. As I said, doubt it. Overall, probably be casting MDL next season. I have no idea if we'll be doing any other events. Probably like, you know, let's just say Dream Hackers tournament, probably doing close qualifiers to that. Maybe open qualifiers to that. Like, I'm just gonna be real with you guys. Like, basically, all my qualifiers are gonna be ESCA related. Like, I don't see myself getting any other qualifiers and any other tournaments like that unless the open IP. Main reason for it is because I never get contacted back. Like, I feel like, you know, I'm gonna have to ask some of these casters, like, how do you get into this job and stuff like that? Because, like, I just don't get any answers from the TOs. It's like it's given out to other people. And, you know, that's how it feels like for me. It could be something completely different. You never know. But that's how it feels like for me. That's how it honestly feels like for me. But anyway. Let's see a few things first of all. I was going to actually do some WoW for a moment because I could get more done. Jeez. But anyways, guys. That's going to be it for Chill Time with Josie today. I'll be playing some WoW a bit later. If you guys enjoyed the show, subscribe and like the video below. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you guys later. Peace out.